Ladies and gentlemen, the articles will be below in the description section. This is Yahoo News. American bishops seek to deny Biden communion. Quote, we've never had a situation like this. And there's a New York Magazine article, Catholic bishops move towards denying Biden communion. They already did in a vote that is a precursor to a final vote, but in a pretty overwhelming vote supporting denying the president communion. The vote, after a brief but intense debate, was 168-55 with 6 abstentions. The margin is significant because adoption of the statement the bishops are contemplating would require a 2/3 vote. So you have over that with 168-55. And possibly for release as early as November. It would also require advance review by the Vatican. So the fact that this is taking place, in my view, is a very good thing, actually. Not just because I voted for President Trump and not Biden, and not just because our beloved President Biden is a hypocrite on a bunch of things. I think it's a very good thing because you have laws. So Democrats want to uphold Roe v. Wade with the same passion and intensity and enthusiasm they do in controlling the Second Amendment. So there are two different viewpoints on life, just completely different viewpoints on life. Now, I do believe that women should have the right to choose. The issue, though, is when you're making certain laws that are allowing doctors or people to, let's just say, to engage in questionable practices that have nothing to do with Roe v. Wade. We'll leave it at that just because of the YouTube algorithm, where you're talking about a human being making a choice for another human being that, doesn't have the ability to defend himself or herself at that point. Now, I'm talking about at a certain stage of the ball game, okay, where Democrats are pretty passionate, enthusiastic, that at any point, regardless of whether or not, it's a person, at any point, the woman has the right. I'm talking about very, very early on in the process where religious people of all faiths, especially the Catholic faith, believe the moment it happens, that's a human being. But Democrats you can look at laws throughout the country or that are being proposed where there's a certain point that you say, wait a second, this is absurd. This isn't about Roe v. Wade. This is about taking that law to an extreme. And so whereas I don't want that law overturned, I don't necessarily know if the moment of conception creates a human being, but there are moments long after where, you're talking about a human being, and then you're talking about that law not pertaining to a great extent, or to possibly not pertaining to that situation at all. I know I'm speaking in roundabout terms, but I'm just trying to be as guideline friendly as possible. So what the Catholic bishops are doing is very consistent with their value system and with their faith and with their belief in what God would want. I would rather, even if they're wrong, I would rather have, and hit subscribe to this channel right now, hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. I would rather have, and become a member of this channel, and if you want to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. I'd rather have Catholic bishops rebuke Biden on what they think God would want than Hollywood or the social media algorithms on Twitter, or the apoplectic, morally superior liberal Democrats in your life who would cancel their own lifelong friends for voting for Trump, or who would try to erase somebody from history simply because of a tweet from 20 years back. Those people are the new gods of our enlightened, not really, society. There used to be televangelists in our world, okay? The televangelists in our world are liberal Democrats running the thought process, how to be anti-prejudice. Well, then why'd you vote for Biden? who wrote the crime bill with the 100? Who wrote the section, the part of the crime bill that talks about a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity? Literally the worst thing when it comes to that value system. But there are hypocrites all over the place. When there's one Democratic congressman who makes the absurd leap of logic that says, well, these Catholic bishops, they're acting hypocritical. They're hypocrites because look at the certain type of penalty that the state ends a person's life. Yeah, that's for usually, almost always, actually, it is always because of that person has been convicted of the most heinous atrocity known to man. Okay? Known to mankind, peoplekind, sorry. And that is not hypocritical at all. Because what do you expect? What do you expect any religious leader to do? Just oppose every single policy position and rebuke every single politician? No, they're taking a stand because Democrats are ramping up or trying to make extreme laws, that aren't about a person's right to choose. They're about something completely different. So, and also what the Catholic bishops, what they're doing is not hypocritical because one is about, a powerless individual. You can debate whether the individual is a sentient or alive or, at what point is that human being alive, okay? But you can't debate that a heinous criminal, whether or not, there's certain issues with innocent people being, sent off. That is an atrocity as well. But what they don't oppose, they oppose that, but they're not rebuking. They don't rebuke presidents because of that, because that's a little thorny, complex issue. See, Democrats make huge leaps of logic. And they do so just or liberal, I should say, the left makes enormous leaps of logic. Well, this is just like that. It's like, no, it's not just like that. And your position on that particular issue is lacks any context, nuance, which is what you always demand for yourself or for any absurd statement that your politicians make. But they're not hypocrites at all. They're actually doing a very good thing. If it was a different, let's put it this way. If perhaps, well, I was going to say, you just look at the way Democrats react now. Biden is the second Catholic president since JFK. If American bishops officially deny Biden communion, they've already voted on it. That will send a clear message throughout the world that certain laws are being taken to the extreme. Okay? The way Democrats and liberal Democrats look at, for example, the Second Amendment is every law that prevents law-abiding citizens from obtaining, these inanimate objects. It makes society safer. And it's like, no, look at the passion, look at the energy, look at the enthusiasm, look at the blind acceptance of anything. Simply, they put all their energy into controlling and to government intervention pertaining to their value system, which, by the way, doesn't work in every major city of this country. There are almost every major city where there's this tremendous rise In homicides, you have the most Second Amendment, laws curbing the Second Amendment more than any other city. It doesn't work. And give me your thoughts below. This is an interesting discussion. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe.